On the morning of September 9, 2004, Toyoke City in Aikai Prefecture was rocked by a tragedy that would haunt Japan for decades. The Kato family home erupted in flames, drawing firefighters and neighbors into a scene of chaos. But what appeared to be a devastating house fire quickly revealed itself to be something far darker. Inside the charred remains, investigators found the lifeless bodies of Toshio Kato, 38, and her three children Yuki, 15, Rina, 13, and Shogo, 9. The discovery was horrifying not only because of the loss of life, but because the victims had been murdered before the fire was set. This was no accident, no tragic mishap with a gas line or faulty wiring. It was a deliberate act of violence, followed by an attempt to erase the evidence through arson. The father, away at work during the attack, was spared physically but condemned to a lifetime of grief. Japan, often regarded as one of the safest nations in the world, was stunned. Family murders were rare, and the brutality of this crime, slaughtering children, then torching the home, was almost unthinkable. News outlets across the country carried the story, and Toyoke, a quiet suburb, suddenly became the epicenter of national fear and sorrow. The first part of this story is about shock, the sudden rupture of normal life, the destruction of a family, and the dawning realization that something profoundly evil had occurred. It is the moment when safety collapses and a community begins to grapple with the unimaginable. The investigation began immediately, but the fire posed enormous challenges. Flames had consumed much of the physical evidence, leaving detectives with fragments to reconstruct the crime. They determined that the victims were killed before the fire was set, which meant the blaze was a cover-up. But who would commit such a crime and why? Police canvassed the neighborhood, searching for witnesses. Few reported anything unusual. There was no sign of forced entry, suggesting the killer may have been known to the family or had found a way inside without detection. Forensic teams examined what little remained: blood traces, burn patterns, and structural damage, but the inferno had done its work. Despite the scale of the investigation, no suspects were ever arrested. Theories emerged. Was this a personal grudge? A random act of violence? A calculated attack? Each possibility carried its own chilling implications. If it was personal, then someone close to the family had harbored a deadly hatred. If random, then anyone could be vulnerable. If calculated, then the killer had planned meticulously, anticipating how to destroy evidence and evade capture. The investigation highlighted the limits of forensic science when confronted with deliberate obstruction. Even in a country with advanced policing, the destruction of evidence by fire left detectives grasping at shadows. The case quickly became one of Japan's most chilling unsolved mysteries, a puzzle with missing pieces that no one could fit together. As years passed, speculation grew. Some believed the murders were tied to revenge or personal disputes, perhaps involving the father's work or family connections. Others suspected a random intruder, someone who stumbled upon the home and committed violence without motive. A few theories even touched on organized crime, though no evidence supported such claims. The Japanese public reacted with shock and sorrow. Media coverage emphasized the vulnerability of ordinary families, challenging the perception of Japan as immune to such violence. The case became a symbol of unresolved trauma, with the Kato family's relatives repeatedly appealing for information. Anniversaries of the crime were marked by vigils and renewed calls for justice, but each year passed without resolution. The unsolved nature of the case also highlighted systemic challenges in criminal investigations, particularly when evidence is destroyed by fire. It underscored how even advanced forensic methods can falter when confronted with deliberate obstruction. Theories became a way for the public to process grief. Each possibility was terrifying in its own right, and the lack of closure meant that fear lingered. The Kato family murders were not just a crime. They were a rupture in the collective sense of safety, a reminder that even in a society known for order and peace, chaos could intrude violently and without warning. 2 decades later, the Kato family murders remain unsolved.